Hello there. Welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I'm so glad you're here tonight where I'm featuring a bright project. This is part of a YouTube collaboration with 9 other YouTubers, including Amy McGrew, because we're celebrating Amy's 1,000th YouTube subscriber. Yay, Amy! And the theme of this collaboration is called Bright. And as you can see here, everything in front of me is bright. The theme Bright was chosen to honor Amy because she is a bubbly, bright, happy, fun personality who dresses with bright colors, sometimes hats and colored glasses, and she is able to strike a super cute pose and bring her happy, bubbly personality to YouTube. So I am using the Stampin' Up! In Color collection that you see before you, which has different components of each of the in colors, including glitter papers, pattern papers, stamp pads. There's also some in color gems, as well as a couple stamp and die sets. So we have Petunia Pop is an in color for 2024 to 2026, and we have Peach Pie, we have Summer Splash, we have Shy Shamrock, and we have Pretty in Pink. Those are the 5 in colors from 2024 to 2026. Included in the Unbounded Beauty collection is Flowers of Beauty and Unbounded Love. Both have stamp set and die set, but you can see the gorgeous pattern papers are super bright and super colorful, and each one of the colors has coordinating patterns as well as glitter papers. These are the 2 stamp and die sets that come with the set, and I'll be talking a little more about which one I've chosen to use and what we're going to use with this set. So I've chosen the photos of Amy that are actually a little more muted than some of her normal bright colors. These are bright with fun bows on her jeans and a pink top, but because the patterns are so bright, I'm going to ground those patterns a little bit with the photos and offset those a little bit with some cardstock. So you can see the gorgeous patterns here. I've pulled out just the patterns that I think will go with Amy's photos and one of the glitter papers. I've actually pulled out the Pretty in Pink glitter paper, and I've focused on primarily the Pretty in Pink and Summer Splash, but all of the colors are in there. So here you see Amy with these cute little jeans. They have bows all over them. She has a cute little coordinating pink top and is just looking so cute with her bare feet posing in the yard. Now, Amy does a little bit of promo modeling for her friends that have boutiques, and so they have clothing lines. So she said it feels kind of funny to have all these photos of me, but she's featuring clothing for friends who sell the clothing, and it's so cute the way she's posing. And I thought, why not do a series of photos of just Amy, since this is all about Amy and her accomplishments on YouTube. We all appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, your follows on YouTube. We work really hard on YouTube, and it sure does mean a lot when you take the time to subscribe. So I am actually shopping my own layouts. I'm going back through an old layout here that has a series of photos in it. It's a simple background, and I've decided to use the Flowers of Beauty die set and Flowers of Beauty stamp set. It's a gorgeous set. It has some long flourishes and leaves. So this long die cut flourish goes with these. I've cut those in black, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about why. It has a wider, shorter leaf there that I'm going to use. And it has another leaf that's a background that you can stamp on as well. It has a strip of smaller but larger separate flowers, and then smaller ones that actually can be separate or they can layer on top of each other. It has some layered flowers in it. So it has a background die for the leaf the large flower and the small flower, and then it has additional stamps that can be embedded right on top to create some beautiful layers on top. So you could use those in conjunction with the thin cuts, not thin cuts, with the dies. I'm getting used to the Stampin' Up! Lingo. Of course, most of you know I just crossed over to Stampin' Up! I've only been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I think at the time of this video, about 9 days. But when I'm making the video, I'm not even crossing over yet because it's well before May 1st. So I'm learning the lingo. So I've cut out these small flowers from this die. I kind of like how the die is all one piece, but it cuts out the separate flowers. And I thought maybe instead of black and black, I could cut that top layer of small flowers out of the Pretty in Pink glitter paper, and then maybe put glitter paper on the top. I keep thinking Amy, I keep thinking bright, I keep thinking glittery and sparkly, and everywhere Amy goes, she is sparkly. So what I am doing is I'm actually going to stamp on some scrap white, and I'm just going to stamp the 3 bases, the base leaves and the base large flower and the base small flower from the Flowers of Beauty stamp set that is part of that Unbounded Beauty Suite collection that features all 5 in colors. So I have a big idea that because there's so much in this collection and in this suite, we can do many layouts with this suite featuring each of the in colors, maybe one layout for each of the in colors so that we get great use out of this suite and this collection. So I've stamped those on there. I've stamped a whole bunch, and then I'm going to take them over to the die cutting machine, and I'm going to die cut these pieces out, and then we're going to do some stamping with those new in colors on those stamps. Now, I've since learned since making this video that you can often just use your negative space from cutting out your die cuts. Put your pieces inside there and match up your stamp. So you can stamp it that way, or you can match it up and you can do your die cutting on top of the stamped image. It's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, whichever way that you prefer. But I'm used to stamping like close to my heart, and I'm stamping on a block versus doing the stamping on the interior stamping on the block. And it's going really, really well, but I actually could put this piece back in the negative space and stamp that way if I felt like I wasn't getting it stamped properly. I had a little bit of difficulty with the background just because it's new and I'm not used to stamping with Stampin' Up! Stamps, and they're coming out great. They're coming out beautiful. It just takes a little adjusting when you're working with a different photopolymer. So I do know that they have the same company, the Close to My Heart photopolymer. I believe it's the same manufacturer, not company. I think I'm not using the right words. Now I'm actually coming in with a little peach pie with a little stamp that stamps the centerpiece of those flowers. So I have stamped the outer flower in intense black, cut that with the die, stamp the inner flower with Pretty in Pink, and stamp the center of the flower with peach pie. And I think that's really going to be beautiful. Now I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to do the leaves, the interior of the leaves with Shy Shamrock. So intense black for the outer leaves, or black if you're Stampin' Up. And I will put a conversion chart in the description if you're using Close to My Heart colors. I will list the 5 colors from Close to My Heart that are closest to the 5 Stampin' Up! In colors. And I'll just try to do that. I'm going to try to do that for sure for the next 4 months to make sure that you know if you're substituting colors. And so I am loving how this looks, the Shy Shamrock on the leaves. Now on the tiny flowers, I did the back in black, intense black if you're using Close to My Heart. And then the front on Summer Splash. Summer Splash definitely reminds me of Lagoon in Close to My Heart. It's definitely close. And there are lots of colors in both Close to My Heart and Stampin' Up. They're all gorgeous colors. I'm loving the Stampin' Up colors. And of course, you know, my heart loves the Close to My Heart colors as well. So now I'm just lining up that stamp and using the interior stamp. So there's there's many stamps in the Flowers of Beauty. You have an outer stamp with many of the pieces, including the flourishes, and an inner stamp where you can stamp little bits and pieces on that. I opted to do the flourishes in black because I want to ground some of these bright colors. Like I said, I purposely chose the photos that I stole from Amy with her permission to use on the layout. I was going to do something of myself, and I thought it's so fitting that this bright, beautiful layout tonight is going to feature Amy. It just fits and it feels right. So I'm going to add all of my bits to my Junk Gypsy tray. We're going to make some more bits now. So now I'm going to take the In Color Petunia, not Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, and a little tiny strip of that glitter paper, and I'm going to make another set of the small flowers because I'm really thinking we're going to want to have some wow factor on this layout, some sparklies, because like I said, Amy sparkles, and so we're going to want to make her sparkle. And so I think we'll put those together, and they're so pretty. I love the Pretty in Pink glitter paper on top of that black accent. It really makes it pop. I'm going to pull in some texture. I know that we're going to need some texture, and I have this eyelet 3D embossing folder from Stampin' Up, and it is gorgeous. It makes a gorgeous, gorgeous raised embossed area. We're also going to add the In Color dots, which are actually called In Color resin dots for 2024 to 2026. We're going to be adding some of those. Now let's take a look at this photo series. In my original layout that I'm shopping my past layouts and my past guides or my past patterns. And so I had a layout with my granddaughter Claire that had a series, and I thought this would work perfect with these photos of Amy and all of her cute poses. So I'm just making sure that on the left edge she's facing right, and on the right edge she's facing left, and same with the photos on the right page, having her facing in left facing right on the left side and left on the right side, and then the facing front photos are in the center. The only thing that I would have done differently is I might have lined up the fence in the back, and I didn't think about that until I was all done. I could have cropped the photos a little bit so that the fence was a little bit more lined up, but it's a little bit up and down, but it still turns out adorable. So I have 3x4 pattern paper pieces of all of the pattern, not all of the patterns, but of the patterns shown. So I chose 4 of the patterns, and I don't know how to describe those. I think that we have a Shy Shamrock pattern. I think that we have a Pretty in Pink pattern, and then some combo patterns. And so I'm not sure how they describe their patterns in Stampin' Up yet. I'm going to have to give each of them names, but I noticed that I have 2 similar of a pattern down below, and I do end up rearranging those. I'm going to rearrange those and switch those patterns out because there's a Pretty in Pink pattern up on the right on the left page that I'm going to switch down to the bottom, and then I'll rotate the ones on the right page as well. But right now I'm just trying to get photo placement, and so I'm actually placing the 3x4 vertical photos at the 4-inch mark. We're going to do a little bit of interesting play and some little offsetting of some papers on the large photo in the center, but I'm going to center the 3x4 pattern paper pieces 2 inches in on both sides, flush with the top of Amy's photo. And then that will be just about perfect because they're each 4 inches. So 4 plus 4 is 8, which leaves 2 inches on either side. So I'm going to place those patterns up there, and I'm going to offset a little bit. I end up pulling this off. So if you end up coming back to the video and you're creating along with me, don't mount this one down because I end up pulling it off. Now I have a 1/2 inch by, I thought, 12 inches of Pretty in Pink, but I discovered that the glitter paper in Stampin' Up! Is a little bit like the glitter paper in Close to My Heart. It's a hair less than 12 inches. And so I didn't even think to check that. And so you're going to want to cut off a little less than 1/8 of an inch on the edge of your paper to match up with that cardstock piece, unless it does, or that glitter paper piece, unless it doesn't bother you that that glitter paper is a hair short. And so Close to My Heart's glitter paper was the same. So perhaps there's something with glitter paper manufacturing that makes it not able to be a full 12 inches. It's just a hair. It's not even 1/8 of an inch, but it's close to 1/8 of an inch. So I have to remember when I'm using a full glitter paper strip that I make sure to cut my background paper down by a little less than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to put that pretty in pink glitter paper across the bottom of those photos and put that flush across the bottom. I'm leaving an open space. Here is where I discovered that the two patterns on the bottom, though different colored, are really similar. They're almost like someone took a brayer on paper and made brayer marks, and they're kind of a wash. And then I'm like, oh boy, I have two wash patterns right next to each other. So I'm going to switch out the pattern up on the top, and I'm going to switch it out for this kind of wash pattern on the bottom. And then I'll be able to switch the right page as well, so that those patterns are kind of offsetting each other and they're actually the opposite of each other on opposite corners. So yeah, I think that's going to look a lot better by doing that. So I'm just going to have my big long T ruler here. It's so nice because on my Versamat, it goes from mark to mark, and it helps me get that first piece straight. Once the first piece is straight, I don't have to worry about measuring after that because I'm putting those pieces flush. We're going to be doing some treatments on the page. We're going to be adding some of the bits that we made for our junk gypsy tray. We're going to be having a lot of fun with this, but right now I just want to get the placement. And so because the In Color collection is so bright and beautiful, it's a lot of busyness. It's a lot of busy pattern. It's a lot of bright. So I really would like to ground it a little bit. Oh, isn't that so pretty? That's that eyelet 3D embossing folder. I did add 1/8 of an inch of a photo mat all the way around the larger 4x6 focal photo of Amy, and I just wanted to add a little texture behind it. So the white piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the same size as a card base, and it fit in that eyelet embossing folder. I did pull some Close to My Heart cardstocks. I pulled Lagoon, I pulled Glacier, and I pulled Seabrook, thinking I might want to incorporate a little cardstock here. This is before I was completely sold on grounding it in black. So at the time of this video, it is April 25th, and I'm not actually a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator until May 1st, and I'm not allowed to order until May 1st. So I'm actually using product that I received in a swag bag as a gift from a founder event at the Stampin' Up! Office, where the Stampin' Up! Office invited Close to My Heart makers to learn about Stampin' Up! We received a bag and the Unbounded Beauty Suite collection. The entire collection was in our swag bag. So I was so happy when I was asked to be part of this collaboration that I had this product. And what are the odds that the theme was bright? Oh my goodness, I was so lucky I had something to use because I actually can't order until 5 days from now. Now this video will actually come out almost 2 weeks later. It's not coming out until May 9th, but at the time of the video, this is really my only product to work with. So I'm just doing the best that I can with the product that I have. So I've decided to go with black cardstock as a grounding color to tone down some of the brights. So again, the eyelet embossing piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I actually decided to go with a longer black piece that is 8 by 4.5, and I think I do trim it down a little bit, but I have these around the bend dies that I actually used on my May Stamp It Up bonus kit. I don't know at the time of this video if this Stamp It Up video is out. It's actually completed, so I'm thinking it's going to launch on May 1st, so I'm thinking most of you out there will have seen the video that is debuting my Stamp It Up kit. But these around the bend dies are gorgeous, and I used those on my Stamp It Up bonus kit. So if you want to find out how you can earn my Stampin' Up! Bonus kit for free by placing a qualifying order, I'll link that in the description and you can learn all about that. But I thought since I have these, maybe I would use those at the bottom of this black piece and give it a little bit more pizzazz. I absolutely loved using those on my Stamp It Up kit, and I made my Stamp It Up kit out of our gorgeous Journey collection. That was one of our last featured collections before Close to My Heart closes this month, which at the time of this video, it will have been April 30th when Close to My Heart closed, and I was able to get some Journey and create all of my kits with that. So here is this gorgeous, gorgeous around the bend die that I used in the bottom of the black, and I just think that's going to be all the thing. I think it's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous set that you're going to be able to use over and over. Now in the Close to My Heart collections, we had stitched fancy borders, which was somewhat similar, not the same, but very similar and gorgeous as well. So if you're following along and you want to substitute something from your Close to My Heart stash, you can actually grab those stitched fancy borders out of your stash. But the around the bend dies are available on Stampin' Up! In online only, and I love those. I will link those in the description as well. So now while I have those pieces on the left page just sort of temporarily in place, we're going to go over to the right page and we're going to repeat the pattern, and then we're going to have some fun and we're going to doll it up just like Amy, who always looks like a little doll. She has some pinks, all different colors of glasses and sunglasses. She has some pink sunglasses. She often will wear fashion hats, floppy hats and fashion hats, and some of the photos that I had to choose from some of her fashion shoots for her friends for the clothing lines were very bright, and they had, she would have like a bright colored ice slushy, or she would be in a backdrop with fuzzy, feathers or different neon lights, and so fun. I was so close to using some of those, but I thought with the bright bolds in the Unbounded Beauty collection with the in colors in it, that we should tone it down and anchor it a little bit, ground it a little bit, and ground it with black bits and little black pieces. And I hope you're going to be happy with it. I hope I made a really good choice. I really want Amy to be happy with it and be proud of her honoring here. And I'm so excited. This is my first collaboration. I've only been on YouTube for a year. It's about 3 days short of a year at the time that I'm recording this video. April 28th is my year-long anniversary, and I have loved every second of it. And I've been, just enjoying sharing the love of paper crafting with everyone. And then, of course, everyone had to go on the roller coaster drama ride after the announcement of the closing of Close to My Heart, and all of us YouTubers deciding, are we going to continue our YouTube channels? And absolutely, I'm not going anywhere. And we have until December of 2024 to use both Stampin' Up! And Close to My Heart products. So that's kind of fun. I'll be able to give hints on what you can use on the Close to My Heart side, because many of my Close to My Heart paper crafters that have followed me for 9 years have so many Close to My Heart things in their stash, but yet there's just a whole new world of exciting new things that are at our fingertips with Stampin' Up! As well. So I've been so honored to be asked to be part of a collaboration for the very first time, and I'm excited about the 9 of us that are in this. There are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that were original Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and then there are several of us that are crossover Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that came over from close to my heart. So I am digging in my stash. I had to look through Stampin' Up! Because I haven't been able to order to see if they have an alphabet die, because here's probably where I would use an alphabet die for Stampin' Up!, but I'm digging some acrylic alphabet shapes out of my stash. And I wanted to say, oh, you know, don't hate me because I'm punny, but I wanted to say living life in color. Get it? In color. We're using these Stampin' Up! 2024, 2026 in colors, and I think Amy lives life in color because she is colorful. So I did that little sniglet there, and people who follow me know I'm very dry and very punny. So I loved that play. And so I was digging through my acrylic alphabet. And so those of you that are following with close to my heart, I bet you have the acrylic alphabet in your stash. If you don't, don't quote me on this. I've been trying to study Stampin' Up, but I've seen Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. I think they're using an alphabet die. I couldn't find it in the catalog, so I was going to muck around online and see if they have an alphabet die, but cutting your black paper with an alphabet die from your stash or one from Stampin' Up! Would be great. So I actually ended up only having enough dots for 3 of the eyes, and there's 4 eyes in this collection. And so I decided to have a chocolate in the middle. I was like, what am I doing here? This is all new to me. This is my very first video with Stampin' Up! Product, and I don't even understand it all, and I'm loving it, but I just don't know everything. So I ended up using those little die-cut flowers from Flowers of Beauty with the pretty in pink glitter paper on top as the dot in the eye. And that, I swear, I'm going to have to ask Amy, but she reminds me of a personality who probably makes little hearts for her dotting her eye, or little stars for dotting her eye. Maybe she doesn't, but she reminds me of somebody who would maybe do that, because everything she does has a flair. And so I used those, and then I found an X, because I can't imagine I will use the X out of the alphabet. And I broke off the tail of the X to make the little apostrophe there on livin', because I just felt like it should be livin', not living. So livin' life in color. And there was my play. So now I'm pulling in all the bits from the Junk Gypsy tray that we prepped ahead of time, and I'm just going to cluster. We're going to work on our clusters. I'm going to use the beautiful flourishes from the Flowers of Beauty. There is another stamp set that is included in the Unbounded Beauty Suite collection, and it's called Unbounded Love, and it has these great little shapes and kind of like label shapes and places that you can put sentiments, and it has tons of sentiments in it that go on all of these shapes. I didn't opt to use it on this, but I definitely plan to use it. I did use a couple of the stamps from the Unbounded Love set that comes in the Unbounded Beauty collection on my Stamp It Up kits, and just showing how you could stamp it. Of course, my Stamp It Up kits don't contain pre-stamped images. It's all the pre-cut pieces, and then you get to choose the stamp that you want to put on it when you earn that Stamp It Up kit as a bonus kit. And so I pre-cut those and ship those out, and then you can add. So in my video for that series, I showed a couple different Stampin' Up sentiments that you could use, and I showed some close to my heart sentiments that you use, so that you'd have your choice, that you could go and grab what I used, which was Unbounded Love sentiments, and I showed how you could curve those sentiments on your blocks for that set. And so I'm not using that for this particular layout and for this collaboration, but I definitely am glad that I got it in the Unbounded Beauty series, and that I got all of the bits and pieces for the in colors It's really a great deal because you get pattern papers in colors, dots in colors, glitter paper in colors, plus the 2 full die and stamp sets. So it's a really great deal. It is more of a higher price point to get the entire collection, but you get a ton in the collection. So you can also get all of the bits and pieces of that collection separate as well. All right, so playing. I'm having so much fun with the clustering, and I'm loving the black and how the black is grounding those bright colors. I am envisioning a little bit of treatment. I'm thinking that we can use some, make some black lines around it to help the, help break apart the colorful center. I'm thinking that we can do a little bit of inking, which will be fun with my brand new Pretty in Pink stamp pad. And I'm thinking that we could pull out Close to My Heart shimmer brush. So I'm thinking black shimmer brush. I did look at the Stampin' Up! Catalog and on the website, and it looks like they have something called a glimmer brush, and it looks silvery. Of course, I can't order yet, so I'll have to check that out. But I do know that my CTMH fans have practically every shimmer brush, because at the time of this video, they were dirt cheap on the shop site, and we had all the colors in shimmer brushes. And so my Close to My Heart, my Snips by Kelly paper crafters have tons of shimmer brushes. And I think black will be so pretty if we would do a little bit of inking in the background with Pretty in Pink, and then maybe a little bit of shimmer brush with black. So of course you can check out the description for the substitute for Close to My Heart colors, and you can be using those. So when I say Pretty in Pink, you can take a look at the substitute color for that in the description if you're substituting Close to My Heart stamp pads. All right, so now I'm using my T ruler that I love, and I'm just making some black lines in a box around both of the colored bits on both pages. So now I'm going to take my mini ink blending brush, my blending tool, excuse me, not mini ink blending brush, my blending tool, and it is a Stampin' Up! One that is smaller. So Stampin' Up! Has a large and a small, Close to My Heart has a large, and I've been loving the smaller size. And so I happened to get a set of those. And I'm just going to do a little bit of inking in that upper right on the left page, the lower left on the right page, and the lower left on the left page, just a tiny bit. You can't even probably see it too much on camera, but it softens up the bright colors. I love how it just makes it nice and soft. Definitely make sure that you brush off your blending brush on scrap paper before you go on your permanent page, because it will be way too deep of a color if you don't. You just want it to be almost second generation. So now I'm going to squeeze off on my all-purpose mat. I do see in Stampin' Up! They have, it's not called an all-purpose mat. It's a little smaller than our all-purpose mat in Close to My Heart, but I'm excited to try that out and see how that one is as well, and see, I'm sure it's a wipeable mat that's very similar. So I'm being super conservative. Tap, 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 just some little delicate, beautiful speckles here with that black shimmer brush over the top of the Pretty in Pink. So I'm going to pull some gold glitter glue or gold Stickles, and I'm just going to tap that on the peach pie centers of those flowers, just a teeny bit, and I'm just doing it with my finger, and then I'm going to wipe it off. You could do it with the nozzle, but I just want it to be a glaze. I don't really want it to be a thick puddle, because I want the stems of those flowers to still show through. And I think that's so, so pretty. I did look through the Stampin' Up! Site and I didn't see glitter glue, and I did go online to see if they had glitter glue or Stickles, and I did not see any, but I do know that my CTMH people have tons of glitter glue in their stash to use up, so you can grab some of that from your stash. I'm learning, so I hope I'm not making Long-time Stampin' Up! Demonstrators cringe at me as I struggle for the names of the colors and the names of the pads and the names of the product. And I'm getting there, and I will say Stampin' Up! Demonstrators have been fabulous, and they are so talented. They're going to knock your socks off, and I can't wait to see what the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that are part of this collaboration do. I don't know if they're doing cards or if they're doing pages or what they're doing. Now I'm just going to go add some of the In Color dots. They're actually called In Color... no, I've forgotten the name. In Color Resin Dots. And I'm just going to add some of those to some of the flower centers of the smaller flowers and add a couple of those in a couple different places. And I'm concentrating on the pretty and pink dots. I didn't use any of the other colors on this particular page, and I'm getting happy. I'm getting happy. So my very first scrapbooking layout with Stampin' Up! And as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, almost 4 days away, I think 5 days away from crossing over on May 1st at the time of this recording. And this will be, I don't know if it will be my first live video with Stampin' Up! Product, because I'll have 9 days of being a demonstrator before this video launches. But it was fun. It was different. It was fun. It was exciting. And I can't say thank you enough to the collab group for inviting me along on my very first collaboration. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you're loving all of the Stampin' Up! In colors, and I hope you'll give me grace and that you'll give me a comment. You'll hit subscribe, the notifications bell, and let me know how I did with my very first set of Stampin' Up! Product, my very first collab, and congratulations to Amy. Check out the next video that's up in the collaboration, and be sure to check out Amy and hit subscribe on her channel and give her a shout and tell her congratulations on her first 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so much. Bye.